The Discovery DR. Elena Vasquez pressed her palm against the cool surface of the translation chamber, watching as ancient symbols flickered across the screen. The Vorthack ruins on Kepler 442b had yielded their secrets reluctantly, but what she found made her stomach clench with unease. The same message she had discovered on 11 other dead worlds now stared back at her in crystalline clarity. They are not what they seem. The small blue world in Sector 7 Alpha guards the deepest horror. We tried to save the galaxy from them. We failed. Do not make our mistake. The Vorthack Collective Final Archive entry. Elena's breath fogged the chamber glass as she leaned closer. 12 extinct civilizations scattered across different galaxy arms, separated by millions of years of evolution and development. Yet, every single one had left the same warning about Earth, about humanity. The Galactic Research Institute's headquarters buzzed with nervous energy when Elena transmitted her findings. Director Thane, a towering Altarian with silver-blue skin, paced behind his curved desk while 3 of the galaxy's most brilliant minds studied Elena's data. 12 civilizations, Thane rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. The Vorthack, the Crystal Singers, the Hive Queens of Andromeda. All of them advanced beyond our current understanding. All of them extinct. And all of them feared. Humans. Zenth, a crystalline being from the Prism Nebula, chimed softly as light refracted through his translucent body. The mathematical improbability is staggering. These civilizations had no contact with each other, yet they all identified the same threat. A species that barely achieved faster-than-light travel 2 centuries ago. Coral, representing the vast hive mind network of the collective consciousness, spoke in harmonious tones that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Our archived memories span 17 million cycles. Never have we encountered such consistent warnings across species barriers. The very uniformity suggests truth, not coincidence. The final member of their hastily assembled team remained silent until now. Vex was an energy being ancient beyond measure, who rarely took interest in material affairs. When she finally spoke, her voice crackled like distant lightning. I have watched civilizations rise and fall for eons. These 12 were not primitive. They commanded powers that reshaped reality itself. For all of them to fall after encountering humanity, there is something we do not understand. Elena stood at the center of the chamber, her human form small among these galactic giants. With respect, the evidence is clear. Every archaeological site tells the same story. These civilizations discovered Earth, observed humanity, and then vanished. The final message is always the same warning. Director Thane's 4 eyes fixed on Elena with uncomfortable intensity. Dr. Vasquez, you're human. Surely you must have insights into your own species that we lack. Elena shook her head slowly. That's just it, Director. From where I stand, humans are remarkably ordinary. We're not the strongest, fastest, or smartest species in the galaxy. We're not even particularly advanced technologically. I can't understand why 12 advanced civilizations would fear us enough to leave warnings that survived millions of years. Zentha's crystalline form shifted, casting rainbow patterns on the walls. Perhaps that is precisely the point. Your species' ordinariness might be the most extraordinary thing about you. Consider this data point from the ethereal archives. The Crystal Singers had technology that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. They could reshape matter with pure thought, bend space-time to their will. Yet their final message speaks of incomprehensible terror when describing human nature. Coral's collective voice harmonized with concern. The Hive Queens possessed perfect unity of thought across billions of individuals. They achieved absolute logical efficiency. Their warning states that humans represent the antithesis of order, yet somehow stability itself. We find this contradiction deeply troubling. Vex flickered, her energy form pulsing with agitation. The Void Walkers were beings of pure entropy, creatures that existed in the spaces between dimensions. Even they feared humanity. Their message translates roughly to the small ones make chaos into music, and music into chains that bind the very stars. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What are you suggesting? That humans are some kind of cosmic threat we don't even know about, that Director Thanes said gravely, is exactly what we intend to find out. I'm authorizing a covert observation mission to Earth. We need to understand what these civilizations saw that terrified them enough to risk warning the future. The preparation for the Earth mission took 3 standard galactic months. The team would use the Institute's most advanced stealth technology, positioning themselves in the outer edges of the Sol system to observe humanity without detection. Elena found herself in the unique position of being both researcher and subject of study. Zenth approached her in the preparation bay, his crystalline form refracting the artificial light into gorgeous patterns. Dr. Vasquez, I must ask, do you ever feel different from other humans? Special in some way that might explain these warnings? Elena laughed, the sound echoing strangely in the vast chamber. Zenth, I'm about as ordinary as humans get. I grew up on Mars Colony 7, went to standard schools, chose archaeology because I loved solving puzzles. If there's something terrifying about humanity, I certainly haven't noticed it. But even as she said the words, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something crucial. 12 civilizations didn't leave identical warnings about ordinary threats. Whatever they had discovered about humanity was significant enough to warrant their final recorded thoughts. Coral's harmonious voice surrounded her as the hive mind entity materialized nearby. Perhaps the terror lies not in what humans are, but in what humans do without realizing it. Many of the warnings speak of unconscious effects, of changes that occurred simply by observing your species. Vex's energy form crackled with subdued power as she joined the conversation. The Quantum Masters left the most detailed warning. They spoke of reality fluctuations around human populations, as if your very existence causes ripples in the fabric of space-time itself. Elena stared out at the swirling nebula visible through the observation port. If that were true, wouldn't our own scientists have detected it? We've been studying physics for centuries. Have you? Zentha's question was gentle but pointed. Or have you been studying physics as affected by your presence? A fish doesn't notice the water it swims in because it knows no other environment. The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. What if human understanding of the universe was fundamentally skewed by their very nature? What if they were changing reality simply by existing within it, unaware that their version of physics might be entirely different from the universal norm? As their ship prepared to depart for the Sol system, Elena found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about humanity. 12 advanced civilizations had looked at her species and seen something so terrifying they felt compelled to warn the future. Soon, she would find out what that something was. The journey to Earth would take 2 standard weeks, using the Institute's fastest ships. As they entered hyperspace, Elena watched the stars blur into streams of light and wondered if she was about to discover that everything she believed about her own species was wrong. Behind them, the data archives of 12 extinct civilizations held their silent warnings, waiting for the truth to finally be revealed. The small blue world in Sector 7 Alpha was about to be observed by beings who understood the true scope of the threat it might represent. Elena pressed her hand against the cool viewport and tried to prepare herself for whatever revelations awaited them. Somewhere in the back of her mind, a small voice whispered that perhaps some truths were better left undiscovered. But it was far too late to turn back now. The investigation, the research vessel harmony of understanding slipped into the outer reaches of the Sol system like a whisper in the cosmic dark. Its advanced cloaking systems rendered it invisible to human detection methods, allowing the team to observe Earth from what they believed was perfect concealment. Elena stood at the main observation deck, watching her home world turn slowly in the view screen. From this distance, Earth looked peaceful, even beautiful. White clouds swirled over blue oceans and brown continents, giving no hint of whatever cosmic horror had terrified 12 advanced civilizations. Initial scans are Unusual, Zenth reported his crystalline form resonating with confused harmonics. The planet's energy signatures don't match our databases. It's as if the fundamental constants are slightly different in this system. Coral's collective consciousness manifested around them, multiple voices speaking in worried harmony. We are detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the system. Space-time appears to be more flexible here than in normal regions of the galaxy. This aligns with the Quantum Master's warnings about reality distortions. Vex flickered beside the main console, her energy form casting strange shadows. Something is definitely wrong. I've existed for millions of years, and I've never encountered space that feels so malleable. It's as if the laws of physics are suggestions rather than absolute rules. Elena frowned at the readings displayed before them. But humans have been living in this system for thousands of years. If reality were unstable here, wouldn't we have noticed? Would you? Zentha's question hung in the air like a challenge. If you grew up in a house where gravity was slightly weaker, would you know unless you visited somewhere else? Their first real shock came when they attempted to focus their sensors on Earth's major population centers. The readings they received made no sense according to established scientific principles. This is impossible. Coral harmonized, their collective voice filled with disbelief. Human cities are generating probability cascade effects. Every major decision made by large groups is creating branching realities that somehow collapse back into a single timeline. Elena studied the data with growing amazement. Are you saying that human civilization is unconsciously affecting quantum mechanics on a macro scale? Vex's energy form pulsed with agitation. It's worse than that. Watch what happens when we focus on individual humans. The main screen shifted to show a busy street in New York City. Thousands of humans moved through their daily routines, completely unaware they were being observed. But the quantum readings told a different story entirely. Each human is a walking probability engine, Zenth observed, his crystalline structure shifting colors as he processed the data. Every choice they make, no matter how small, is creating ripple effects across multiple dimensional layers. They're unconsciously navigating probability streams that would require our most advanced computers to calculate. Elena watched a woman on the street corner decide whether to cross the street or wait for the light. According to their sensors, that simple decision created 17 different branching timelines, which then somehow collapsed back into a single reality where she chose to wait. This explains the warnings. Coral realized their harmonious voices rising with excitement and terror. The extinct civilizations weren't afraid of what humans might do deliberately. They were afraid of what humans do unconsciously every moment of every day. As they continued their observations, more disturbing patterns emerged. Human conflicts, rather than destabilizing reality, seemed to strengthen it. Wars, arguments, even simple disagreements were creating quantum anchor points that prevented reality from drifting into chaos or crystallizing into absolute order. Look at this data from the Middle East. Vex pointed to a region experiencing ongoing conflict. The constant tension between opposing forces is generating stability fields. It's as if human conflict is necessary to maintain the balance between quantum possibilities. Elena felt sick. You're saying that human suffering serves a cosmic purpose? Not suffering specifically, Zenth corrected gently. Human emotional intensity. Love, hate, hope, despair. All of it generates quantum effects that stabilize reality. The more intense the emotion, the stronger the stability field. They watched a hospital in Mumbai where a child was being born. The overwhelming joy of the parents, combined with the medical team's focused intensity, created a localized zone where probability became almost solid. Meanwhile, in a courthouse in London, a jury's struggle over a difficult decision was preventing several potential timeline branches from destabilizing. The pattern is clear, Coral observed. Humans don't just live in reality, they actively maintain it through their emotional and psychological processes. Their very existence prevents the universe from collapsing into either perfect order or absolute chaos. But the most shocking discovery came when they detected other observation attempts around Earth. Their sensors revealed the remnants of 12 different advanced detection systems, each one bearing the technological signatures of the extinct civilizations they had been studying. "They were all here," Elena whispered, recognizing the energy patterns. "The Vorthack, the Crystal Singers, all of them. They all came to observe Earth, just like we're doing now." Vex's form crackled with realization. And look what happened to their observation systems. Each one shows signs of catastrophic quantum destabilization. They didn't just observe Earth. Being here destroyed them. The research vessel's instruments began showing warning signs. Reality fluctuations were increasing around their position, as if their very presence in the Sol system was creating instabilities. The ship's AI reported that fundamental constants were shifting slightly, causing minor system malfunctions throughout the vessel. "We need to maintain distance," Zenth warned, his crystalline form now shifting rapidly between colors. "Whatever effect Earth has on advanced civilizations, we're beginning to experience it ourselves." But Elena was studying a different set of readings, ones that filled her with growing dread. "It's not just Earth affecting us. Look at these quantum signature analyses from the 12 extinct civilizations. They didn't die because they observed Earth." She paused, letting the implications sink in before continuing. "They died because they tried to change it. Every one of them attempted to either eliminate humanity or alter human nature in some way. The quantum backlash from disrupting Earth's reality stabilization function is what destroyed them." The observation deck fell silent except for the soft hum of life support systems. The team stared at Earth, no longer seeing a simple inhabited world, but recognizing it as something far more significant and dangerous. Humanity is the universe's immune system. Coral finally harmonized, their collective voice heavy with understanding. 12 civilizations tried to cure what they saw as a disease, not realizing they were attacking the very mechanism that keeps reality stable. Vex flickered with nervous energy. "And now we're here, potentially making the same mistake. Every moment we spend in this system increases the risk of quantum destabilization. But if we leave now, we'll never understand the full truth." Elena looked around at her alien companions, seeing the fear in their alien features. "Then we need to make contact. The warnings all speak of observation from a distance. Maybe the key is direct communication." "That could be even more dangerous," Zenth protested. "If proximity to Earth is destabilizing our systems, direct contact with humans might be catastrophic." But as they debated their options, their ship sensors detected something that changed everything. A transmission from Earth, directed precisely at their location despite their cloaking technology. "Unidentified vessel in Sector 7 Alpha Delta," came a calm human voice. "This is Dr. Sarah Chun of the Earth Quantum Research Institute. We know you're there and we know why you came. Please respond on this frequency if you wish to learn the truth about the warnings you've discovered." The team stared at each other in shock. Somehow, despite all their advanced technology and careful concealment, the humans had not only detected them, but understood their purpose. Elena reached for the communications controls with trembling hands. They had come here seeking answers about humanity's cosmic significance, and now those answers were about to be provided by the very beings they had come to study. The moment of truth had arrived, and there was no turning back. The revelation DR. Sarah Chen's laboratory existed in a space that shouldn't have been possible according to conventional physics. Located beneath the Swiss Alps, the facility somehow felt larger inside than its physical dimensions would allow. As Elena and her team materialized through what Dr. Chun casually called a probability gateway, they realized that human technology was far more advanced than anyone in the galaxy had suspected. "Welcome to Earth," Dr. Chun said, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the reality-bending environment around them. She was a small woman with kind eyes, wearing a simple white lab coat that somehow seemed to shimmer with barely contained energy. "I apologize for the unconventional invitation, but we've been expecting visitors like yourselves for quite some time." Elena found her voice first, though it came out as barely a whisper. "You knew we were coming?" Dr. Chen smiled, and for a moment the walls of the laboratory became transparent, revealing the vast cosmos beyond. Dr. Vasquez, we've known about the warnings for centuries. Every time an advanced civilization discovers them and decides to investigate Earth, we become aware of their approach. You're the 13th such expedition. Zentha's crystalline form resonated with confusion and fear. The 13th? But there were only 12 extinct civilizations in the warnings. Exactly, Dr. Chen replied, leading them deeper into the facility. 12 civilizations came here with the intention of solving what they perceived as the human problem. One civilization chose a different path. The Keepers of the Void decided to work with us instead of against us. They still exist, though they've moved beyond this dimensional layer. The laboratory opened into a vast chamber where the laws of physics seemed negotiable rather than absolute. Holographic displays showed complex equations that hurt to look at directly, while streams of pure possibility flowed like rivers of light between floating platforms. I imagine you have questions, Dr. Chin continued, settling into a chair that appeared to be made of crystallized time. The warnings you found were accurate as far as they went. Humanity does represent something unprecedented in galactic evolution. But the extinct civilizations misunderstood what that meant. Coral's harmonious voice filled the chamber with nervous energy. Our observations showed that humans unconsciously stabilize reality through emotional and psychological processes. Are we correct in this assessment? Dr. Chen nodded. Partially correct. It's true that human consciousness interacts with quantum mechanics in ways that other species don't experience. But we're not unconscious of it anymore. We haven't been for several centuries. She gestured to the flowing streams of possibility around them. What you're seeing here is humanity's greatest achievement and deepest secret. We've learned to consciously manipulate the probability streams that we naturally generate. Every human on Earth is part of a vast network that maintains universal stability. Elena felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Literally, you're saying that humanity has evolved beyond what we appear to be? Not evolved, Dr. Chen corrected. Awakened. The universe is far more fragile than most species realize. Reality exists in a delicate balance between absolute order and complete chaos. Too much order, and existence crystallizes into static perfection, essentially death. Too much chaos, and everything dissolves into meaningless noise. Vex's energy form crackled with sudden understanding. The extinct civilizations. They achieved too much order, didn't they? Dr. Chen's expression grew somber. The Vort hack created perfect unity of thought across their entire species. The Crystal Singers achieved absolute harmony with the fundamental forces. The Quantum Masters solved every equation and answered every question. Each of them, in their own way, removed uncertainty from their existence. She stood and walked to one of the holographic displays, showing a complex web of interconnected possibilities. Uncertainty isn't a flaw in the universe. It's the engine that keeps reality running. Consciousness doesn't just observe quantum events, it participates in them. When a species becomes too certain, too perfect, too ordered, they stop participating in the quantum dance that maintains existence. Zentha's form shifted through a spectrum of colors as he processed this information. But humans appear chaotic, inefficient, constantly in conflict with each other. How does this create stability? Dr. Chen laughed, and the sound somehow made the probability streams flow more smoothly. That's exactly the point. Human nature encompasses the full spectrum of possibility. We are capable of incredible love and terrible hatred, brilliant logic and irrational emotion, selfless sacrifice and petty cruelty. This emotional and psychological complexity generates quantum uncertainty on a scale that balances the entire local universe. She activated another display, showing Earth surrounded by what looked like flowing ribbons of light that extended across multiple star systems. Every human thought, every decision, every emotional response contributes to this stability field. We don't just live in the universe, we actively prevent it from dying. Elena stared at the display in amazement. The whole time we thought we were a young, primitive species, we were actually maintaining cosmic stability? Not the whole time. Dr. Chin admitted, for most of human history, we did this unconsciously. But certain individuals throughout history began to understand our true nature. Ancient shamans, medieval mystics, modern physicists, they all glimpsed pieces of the truth. About 400 years ago, we reached critical mass in our understanding and decided to formalize our role. Coral's collective voice resonated with awe and terror. You're saying that humanity consciously chose to become reality's maintenance system? Dr. Chen's expression grew serious. We chose to accept the responsibility we already had. The universe needed conscious beings capable of maintaining the balance between order and chaos. Most species either achieve perfect order and cease to exist, or remain too chaotic to be effective. Humanity exists at the perfect balance point. She gestured to Elena and her companions. The extinct civilizations made the mistake of trying to fix us. They saw our conflicts, our inconsistencies, our apparent inefficiency, and thought they could improve us. But every attempt to make humanity more ordered or more chaotic destabilized the local reality matrix. Vex flickered with understanding. That's why their warnings speak of us as dangerous. Not because we're evil, but because we're necessary. Precisely, Dr. Chin confirmed. The warnings were their attempt to prevent future civilizations from making the same mistake. Unfortunately, most species that discover the warnings can't resist the urge to investigate or intervene. Elena felt a chill of realization. What happens to our expedition? Are we doomed to extinction like the others? Dr. Chin smiled warmly. That depends entirely on your choice. The Keepers of the Void chose to work with us to help maintain the balance instead of trying to fix it. They've moved beyond physical existence, but they still participate in reality maintenance from higher dimensional layers. She led them to a final chamber where streams of pure possibility converged into a brilliant nexus of light. We're offering your species the same choice. Join us in maintaining universal stability, or return to your home worlds and forget what you've learned here. But trying to change or eliminate humanity will result in the same fate that befell the 12 extinct civilizations. Zentha's crystalline form had stabilized into a deep, thoughtful blue. What would joining you entail? Your species would become conscious participants in reality maintenance, Dr. Chin explained. You would help stabilize probability streams in your regions of the galaxy, preventing the universe from sliding too far toward order or chaos. It's not an easy responsibility, but it's necessary for universal survival. Elena looked at her alien companions, seeing the weight of decision in their postures. And if we choose to forget, then you return home with no memory of this encounter, and humanity continues its work alone. But we'll be watching for the 14th expedition because there's always another species that discovers the warnings and can't resist investigating. The chamber fell silent as the team contemplated their choice. Finally, Coral's harmonious voice broke the silence. If we agree to help, will you teach us how humans learn to consciously balance order and chaos? Dr. Chen's smile illuminated the entire chamber. That's exactly what we were hoping you'd ask. Welcome to the Reality Maintenance Division. Your training begins now. As Elena watched her companions formally join humanity's cosmic mission, she realized that the greatest truth of all was just beginning to unfold. Earth wasn't just humanity's home, it was the universe's greatest secret, and now that secret was shared among the stars, the warnings left by extinct civilizations would remain as testament to the consequences of trying to fix what wasn't broken. But for those wise enough to join rather than judge, a new chapter in cosmic evolution was about to begin. Outside the facility, Earth continued its slow rotation, its 8 billion human inhabitants unconsciously maintaining the delicate balance that kept existence itself from dissolving into nothingness. And now, for the first time in cosmic history, they weren't alone in that responsibility. The universe had found its guardians, and they were more than ready to share the load.